beside me, holding my hand every step of the way. Through these eyes you could do no wrong. In these eyes you were brave and strong. In my heart those days live on. You were my hero, hero. You were my hero. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. What does it take to be a hero? What does it take to be a man? I'm looking down into my young boy's eyes as I feel his love. Oh, I realize the torch is passed along. On and on, I'll be your hero. I'll be your hero. I'll be your hero. Oh, whoa.
Sunday night, July the 2nd, 2017. Slam Picks Podcast, episode 71. We are back, hot off the heels of our giant Super Friends show last week. Before I welcome back the man of the hour, Too Sweet to Be Sour. It's so good to have you back, by the way. Michael, I want to thank all our good pals for bailing us out last week. Congrats real quick on the pool win, Michael. But last week, our buddy M. Sproat was on cruise control this week, sorry. So many people this week, Michael, I'm losing track of who had our backs. But Kristen from Bear Club, Jay, the Prodigal Jay, and Logan and Maniac Matt, of course. Thank you guys for covering us for episode 70. But, like I said, Michael, welcome back to the show. It's not the Slam Picks Podcast. Without you, my man, you've had quite the victorious week. Creepy fucking post on Twitter earlier. But regardless, so good to have you back, man. How was your week? How's it going?
Motherfuckers, I'm back. Woo! In case y'all missed me, which you probably didn't, that's all right. I'm back, victorious as usual. I will be heading to Las Vegas with my pool team later next month in August, going for the World Championship. Pretty stoked about that. Was sorry I couldn't make the show.
It's still more valuable.
I was shooting
the
very
Force Wrestling title.
I was shooting a $5,000 match while the show was going on. So literally, while you guys were talking, when you guys were going live, I was shooting for us to go to Vegas or not. So as soon as I got done and we got in the car, I went to see if you guys were still recording, and it would just ended. So
yeah, well,
but,
it's,
because I like to make little sporadic appearances if I can't make it live.
It's all good though. I mean, we definitely had you covered last week. A couple things though, and congrats, like I said. Real quick, where can everyone check us out? What we do?
Everyone, check us out at the Hibiki TMD on Twitter. Check me out at Mike the Slam Pig. Check out Logan at Logan Myers 144, and always Maniac Matt Tennant. Check him out. As always, check us out as a whole on Hibiki TMD, our sister show.
The reset button.
The reset button. Cruise Control, that show nobody listens to. And, of course, our most popular show as of late, Union Smack. Make sure to check them all out on Hibiki TMD.
Definitely. And yeah, let's get right down to business, Michael. A couple things last week you missed I wanted to touch on. Cody Rhodes, new Ring of Honor World Champion. We talked about it last week. A lot of people don't see Cody as the guy in a company, world title guy. I was one of those guys we talked about last week. Michael, I wanted to get your 2 cents because it has, and by the way, I did catch a New Japan show this week. Holy shit. Like the second one I've caught all year. I caught the G1 USA special yesterday. Announced by Jim Ross, Josh Barnett. I thought they did a tremendous job.
Okada won the IWGP belt again?
No. Okay, so Okada and Omega 2 already happened. Okada obviously victorious. This was the ROH champion, Cody, can't say Rhodes, going against Okada, champion versus champion. I'm not going to say it was a bad match. It was a good match.
I love Okada, though.
Me too. That is him and Naito. I don't know which guy's my favorite right now. I'm leaning more towards Naito.
Like, I didn't stop. I haven't been big on Japanese wrestling until the last couple years. And Okada, oh my fucking God. I put him pound for pound as maybe the best guy in the world right now.
And this is I tweeted this out earlier. This is nothing against Cody Rhodes. We would both agree, tremendous worker. But I would say as good as this match was by the end, the very last sequence, it was very botchy because I would say specifically Cody Rhodes was so blown up. Because who can hang with Okada? Let's be real. And that's a testament to how good Okada is. When you can blow up Cody Rhodes, you're tremendous in the ring.
How good is Okada's English, too?
Not very.
I mean, that's another issue. Maybe was this first time they've worked together? Most likely.
Maybe in a single, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's always going to be maybe some issues there when you have a high-profile match, language barrier, never worked together probably.
And Kenny Omega's Japanese is tremendous, too.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Omega, I'm sure the first time he worked with Okada, I know they probably worked some tags together before. I'm pretty sure they probably had some practice together before they had these big singles matches, which were so fucking good.
Well, Omega's been in Japan forever since his bust of a trial in WWE years ago. He was in DDT Pro Wrestling, Inflatable Dolls, and Jim Cornette's favorite matches. But Kenny Omega knows Japanese very well. Also, a couple other things on the show. Jay Lethal. It's a crime.
Kristen wants you to stop being indecisive, by the way.
Indecisive about what?
I don't know. She just said it in the chat. Thank you, everyone in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, shout out our pals in the chat.
Shout out Kristen, Mr. Logan, and Mike, and the daily vlogs. I believe he's a first-time listener.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We love having you here. But, yeah, I don't know how I'm being indecisive, so clarify that, and I'll try to figure it out. But, yeah, I think that the show was really good last night. I'm glad I caught it. But I was going to say Jay Lethal. It's just a crime that he didn't go to NXT still. I just think he would fit well in WWE because he's also very
Black
entertaining.
Machismo?
Yes. Well,
You want him as Black Machismo?
He's bald now. It's a little different. I missed the cornrows Jay Lethal. But
I loved it.
Michael, before we get into Raw and SmackDown this week, what else is going on in the zany world of wrestling?
Unfortunately, we have sad news and happy news from the same family in the same day.
Let's get the serious side of it out of the way real quick.
Do you want to do the sad news first or the happy news?
Let's rip the Band-Aid off and then put a new one on.
Okay. Sad news is, we already spoke about this, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Smith Hart, who was in hospice care a couple weeks ago that we mentioned, has sadly passed away today at the age of 68. Smith, obviously, for those who don't know, is the oldest of the Hart family, the firstborn to Stu and Helen. Actually was a pretty good worker in the 70s and 80s, worked in Japan for the NWA as well as his father's company, Stampede Wrestling. Actually was very critical to Brett's career as far as telling him to keep at it when Brett was ready to quit. And for those who have read Brett's book, they know how critical and crucial his big brother was to motivating him to stay with wrestling when he was ready to.
Because Brett was fed up really early on, fresh into.
He didn't think he was ever going to get anywhere with it.
Well, that he never thought he could live up to what his father's expectations were, and that was a big reason I think that Smith. He was initially supposed to inherit it. You were telling me he was supposed to take over the mantle from.
Well,
Stu,
I mean, the firstborn to any family is always supposed to be like
by default
the president of the fucking United States or something. You know what I mean? So I mean, sorry to you, Travis. You were the firstborn.
I'll inherit that macaroni and cheese recipe.
That is fucking delicious.
But yeah, Smith Hart. I mean, not a tragedy. He's not a young man, but it's really sad. I mean, we knew it was expected.
68. That's
he's been in hospice care for a couple weeks, and that's
God. He looked a lot like Stu there towards the end.
Really did.
Talk about knowing who your fucking parents were. He looked like Stu's guts.
Smith Hart, 68 years old.
Yes, 68.
Rest in peace, Stu Hart. Unfortunately, on Bret Hart's birthday, man can't catch a break.
On a brighter note, I don't know if you can make it brighter. It's his brother Bret Hart's birthday.
God, Bret can't catch a break. Swear.
I mean, Bret's birthday of all days is Bret. How do you think Bret took it? Was he like, you son of a bitch, you did it on purpose?
There's so much behind the scenes with the Hart siblings. So many of them hate each other. The other half don't. It's hard to keep up.
Well, everybody hates Bruce.
Everybody does hate Bruce. Kind of like Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond. Bad joke to kick off the show. But Michael, I would say, in tribute to Stu Hart, it is really unfortunate that his last note, his last swan song, if you will, was him coming out in tweets trashing Seth Rollins a year or so back, blaming Seth Rollins for hurting Sting and all these fucking guys, Finn Balor. Remember that? And everybody gave Smith Hart.
Mentality. I don't think you can really hold it against them.
I also totally disagreed with Smith. He shouldn't have said anything. Accidents happen. Who would know better than a Hart member that accidents happen? Yeah. But the man's passed away. It's sad. Also, Tyson Kidd in a little bit of news. You were telling me as far as possible managerial role for Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, as well. Also, I want to shout out Thrax Sable Scales. I want to make sure I get that correct.
Sable Scales?
Yes, Thrax Sable Scales said he'll be right back, going to spread this. So he's going to get us some new listeners, another first-time listener, perhaps. Welcome to the chat.
Sable
Thank you.
Scales sounds like something terrible they'd sell in '98.
That's. I mean, I'm reading it how it's spelled. So
no, it's all good. But yeah, Tyson Kidd in a managerial role.
Yes, it has been confirmed that Tyson Kidd will be taking the role of backstage agent on SmackDown Live. Rumor has it because obviously he wants to be on the same brand as his wife Natalya. Possibly later on in a managerial role for Natalya again. He has not yet been cleared to wrestle. He's been out for, I believe, over 2 years now because of his neck surgery.
I think he's done. At least in the WWE ring, I don't think. If they're not going to let Daniel Bryan back, I highly doubt they're going to let Tyson Kidd back.
I don't know that WWE is going to clear him. The only way I could see him getting cleared is maybe going somewhere else and working and proving that he's good to go because WWE is just not going to take a chance.
Yeah.
They've had too many incidents in the past, and they're just not willing to risk it. It's sad because Tyson Kidd, I feel like, was starting to catch a stride there with Cesaro. I was interested in that tag team.
If they were a thrown together tag team that got over by the end of it, they were actually really good together. But I mean, it could be way worse than managing his wife. I mean, at least it's something for him to do. I'm sure it's been killing him to sit around and watch all his best friends like Cesaro and stuff, still be able to wrestle. But it's the same thing when Joe did that to Tyson Kidd. Everybody gave Joe shit. It's ballet. It could have happened to anybody.
It's not ballet.
It's not ballet, correct.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Mr. It's ballet.
I would like to, as far as our end, serious notes for the show's sake. Logan is home, guys. As you can see, he's in the chat. Logan, suffering some medical stuff this week, but so glad to have you home out of the hospital. But I will talk to you in cruise control this week.
What was he in the hospital for, Travis?
Some medical issues, some chest condition, pain and stuff. But it's so glad to have Logan back and safe and sound.
All right, I won't do it.
Don't do it.
All right. I'll be polite.
Come on.
All right, I won't be polite. I didn't know it took that long for a sex change operation. Oh!
Wow.
Sorry.
Anything else going on?
Well, you encouraged it.
I'm just trying to get off it now. Anything else going on this week you wanted to bring up, talk about that? Oh, I know a big one from last week since it's going to be on. Let's get your thoughts. Little segment because, man, if any episode I wish I could have had you here for, it would have been last week. Enzo and Cass split. Real second, your thoughts on it before we review how they carried it on this week on Raw.
That would have been my obvious what the fuck segment. It would have been wake the fuck up WWE. How do you split the most over tag team in your company aside from the Hardys this early when they never even won the belts? Now, a lot of people might make that assumption. No, they don't need the belts. They're entertaining without them. They're like Roddy Piper of the tag team division. I've heard that a lot. They don't need the belts because they're so entertaining without them. Just giving them the belts would be a cherry on top. Well, to me, these guys never held a belt since they've been in WWE, not in NXT and not on the main roster. Yeah. And if you weren't noticing, when we went to that WWE Live event a few months ago, we saw a lot of Enzo and Cass shit in the crowd.
Even on the show that they split them up 2 weeks ago, there were tons of merch in the crowd.
I mean, I feel like there's miles left on this tread. You know what I mean? I felt like they pulled the trigger way too soon on this. I know you probably disagree with me. I know you weren't as big a fan of them as I am.
I don't disagree with you. I actually completely agree with you. I'm not. I don't even have to be a fan to. You know what I mean? I think of it from a business perspective, and you're right. Just like you said,
zero sense
with all the merch you saw. It's like, and let's be real. From what I've seen this week, we're going to get to the review in a second. It's not going to work. I'm calling it now. They'll have them back together within a year at least.
Well, I mean, what do you do with this? You have them. I mean, who wants to watch these two guys wrestle?
Rumors of Enzo and Cass, which I shot down on the show the last couple of weeks on Cruise Control and this show about him going to 205 Live. He could not hang with those guys. He's only been in the business for a couple of years. People don't realize he's a football player who just happened to have charisma out the fucking ass. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't see him on 205 Live because they would expose him. That's the last thing you would want to do if you want him as a babyface.
I mean, I know we've made the comment before to where if they were going to do this, they could have had some sort of angle where maybe Enzo had a career-ending injury and he had to be forced to the side to manage Cass in some sort. I feel like that would have made more sense.
Totally. We'll see where it goes, though. Like I said, I don't see it working. I mean, they could throw
Who wants to watch this, honestly? Who wants to watch a 200-pound man who's about, 5'10", wrestle a 300-plus pound man who's 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, for that, you can say Big Show and Rey Mysterio in 03, where he strapped Mysterio to the stretcher and swung him like a bat. But this is more a case of, okay, when they split the Hardys up in 2001 and even in 2009, people don't want to see teams they love fight. It never gets over. Like when Edge and Christian have their feud. How much do you remember from Edge and Christian's feud? As great as they were.
None.
Nothing. Nothing because it sucked because nobody wanted it.
Same thing with the Hardys at WrestleMania.
Nobody wants it.
What a fucking clunker of a match. It just didn't feel organic. You know what I mean? You didn't believe it. So
we've come a long way from the time of Marty and Shawn in the barbershop, where now it's like WWE can't help themselves. Back then, what got the barbershop over? Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, they're a tag team. They'll be split up in a year. And now they always split up their tag. It's amazing. Gallows and Anderson are still a fucking team at this point.
I was so disappointed in how they did this whole thing where the weeks and weeks of build-up where we were all kind of like, well, obviously it's going to be Big Cass, but we were hoping that they were going to do something creative, maybe with the Authors of Pain coming up or somebody else. You know what I mean? To maybe surprise you.
Now,
but no, they didn't do that. They just went total fucking lazy. Oh, it's Big Cass.
Maybe I'm forgetting a team. There could be teams where they split. Marty and Shawn, at first it was very intriguing, of course, but that feud by the end of it sucked. One for Marty's demons behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, nobody...
They never got the real payoff on that because of Marty's demons.
It never got the platform it deserved. Like the title change.
The best match they ever had was on Raw.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say. But Edge and Christian, like I said, like maybe some of you guys that love the Attitude Era, like we love the Attitude Era, but a lot of those times are blurry for us because they hot-shotted booking so much. When you change a title, Christ, look how many times in 01 that a title changed hands.
Jesus fucking
with
Christ.
The Invasion.
Yes, between the Intercontinental title, the tag belts, the European title, the Hardcore belt.
That European title
fuck.
in 2000 and 2001 could have very well changed hands over 30 times.
Well, I mean,
that's how bad it was.
To be honest, I mean, when they finally got rid of the European belt, I felt like it was on somebody credible. When they had Jeff Hardy go against RVD in a ladder match to unify the belts.
Yeah.
I felt like it finally had a credible champion for the first time in a while, and they're going to take it away.
Flip the coin, you could say it on the other hand about DIY. I guess I give that more of a pass. I'm not happy about that either because I feel like DIY could have got over so much on a SmackDown. Yeah. But I guess because Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were singles on the Indies for so long, they're going to transition better at the end of the day than Enzo and Cass.
Well, it's going to be a test run. I mean, they're going to see how... Obviously, this feud between those two is going to have some momentum behind it because there's going to be a long wait in between with Ciampa's injury. But I don't know. I just can't see either one of them transitioning as single stars on the main roster. So I mean, if one of them's going to transition to a single star, I would say Gargano. Not that Ciampa's fucking shit or anything.
I think Ciampa's problem is he looks just like Oney Lorcan, Cesaro.
He looks like everybody.
At least they gave Drew Gulak a new haircut and shaved his beard. All these guys got to be careful. We say it all the time about looking similar. But we're way off topic.
I want to know who's pulling the trigger on all this shit. I know Triple H has his finger in most things to do with NXT. And for the most part, I think we assume that Vince has his finger in most things to do with the main roster. If this is Vince's doing to break up Enzo and Cass, I don't think it's ever more begged the question, is this guy lost his touch?
Well, the elephant in the room, look how big Cass is. And you know that's the Vince guy. Look at that guy.
Ever since he's been in NXT, I bet he's salivated. Oh my God, he's huge. Holy shit, he's 7 feet tall. Oh my God, I want to make him champion.
Who's that little guy that sounds like DDP? Get him out of there.
But Vince is probably fucking coming all over his jeans.
Oh, God.
Or whatever slacks he's wearing.
You're killing me already.
It's just big Cass. I can just see it. I can see it in the big lights. It's big Cass. And I just don't see it going anywhere. I can see what they're trying to do here to create more intrigue in the tag team division on Raw. Because the Raw division, to be honest, has kind of gotten stale since WrestleMania. I thought it had a lot of momentum going into WrestleMania because you had a lot of different teams had some momentum going into WrestleMania. You weren't quite sure who was going to win the ladder match, but the early favorite probably was Enzo and Cass.
Yeah. That's who everybody wanted to win until the Hardys were
But you had
the problem with the tag division on Raw, and we'll get to it in a second with Raw, is a nostalgia act has been the champs now for a couple months, and they've been the prominently featured act in the tag team division, and that takes a little bit of credibility away.
Now you have Sheamus and Cesaro that have been the champs since the last pay-per-view.
Well, when you go off nostalgia, at the end of the day, it kills your credibility for your up-and-comers.
Well, unfortunately, they're kind of handcuffed with the legal battle going on with the broken gimmick, which actually, for anybody who has the network, who's been watching Bring It to the Table.
And the interview with Corey Graves with the Hardys was
tremendous. He actually asked the question. Yeah. And it's made more obvious that
we'll get into that
is where they are as far as the broken gimmick. I know everybody's wondering what's going on with the broken gimmick.
It's just up in the air in court right now.
Yeah, it's got to be dealt with. And hopefully in the future we'll get it. I mean, it's not that they still don't hint at it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Matt Hardy does about 17 delete signs every night he's out there. And what can they say about Jeff Hardy because his middle name is Nero? So, I mean, what are they going to do? You can't say Brother Nero. Well,
I guess it's time for your favorite part of the show, Michael. I get to turn into my gimmick. Without further ado, I guess it's time for this week's Raw Review. Monday Night Raw.
Tell you what, this Kristen, she's a funny bitch.
She is. Monday Night Raw this week, Michael, was live as usual, and my God, let's go ahead. You guys have been looking at the thumbnail. I want to talk about the absolute worst thing I've seen on Raw in ages. We've got to address the shit-covered elephant.
Before we do that, I want to go back to the chat because I'm manning the chat tonight. I want to be interactive.
Go ahead. Because I can put off Lavarl Ball all night.
Thrax Sable Scales said you should know him from Tonkasaw and Grapple Vision.
I do.
So,
Thank you for stopping by.
Okay, well, evidently you act like you didn't know who the fuck he was.
I just didn't know.
And you probably pissed him off a little bit.
I just didn't know how to pronounce it. So I didn't know who he was. I didn't say I didn't know who he was.
All right. I'm just saying, quit pissing people off. That's my job. For fuck's sake.
All apologies, Thrax. We appreciate you being here.
Jesus Christ. If anybody's going to piss people off on this show, it's going to be me.
I can't see the chat. You can see the chat.
I can see it. I'm just saying.
You were manning the chat. But Michael Lavar Ball and his sons, Giant Silva and Woodstock from Snoopy, were there tonight.
Lavar Ball.
Oh, my God. You know,
Lonzo Ball and
Jerry,
LaMelo, I believe.
A lot of guys that are still contracted. Most of them legend status. But came out on Twitter this week. Jerry Lawler, the most prominently featured, talking about how the show is bad enough usually. I'm just giving a synopsis on Jerry Lawler's tweet. The show's bad enough. What did this do to help anything? Anything. Michael,
It's had Vince all over it.
I said a week or so ago that was the worst Miz TV segment of the year. But they have outdone me. They've made me eat my words. Please.
Ever since they brought Miz over to Raw, they've given him the Intercontinental belt to give it, I guess, more steam than it would have had with Ambrose. But ever since he's come to Raw, they're just doing whatever they can to fuck this guy. Like, we were going to have some Miz TV tonight, but I want you to do this. This is how it's going to go. It just doesn't feel right.
So the Ultimate Warrior, Lavar Ball, makes his running entrance that was... Jesus, we make fun of how Braun Strowman walks, but this was... Michael, I'm just lost. Explain what happened here, please.
Can I say it?
I can't.
Can I say it? Can I say the elephant in the room?
Do it.
Beat that nigga ass!
The infamous line that was dropped this week.
Pretty sure that was said by the youngest Bull as well. He's in high school.
All our good pallies this week, Grapple Vision. Broski, first thing in the morning, they all made their special little tribute videos.
I want to go out there on record and say I'm not racist. That was not a racial slur. I'm just quoting verbatim what was said on the air, and I think it was said twice, actually.
It was. Let's move along, though. It was quoted, so come at us.
Yes.
But yeah, what the fuck? Like, apparently chaos backstage at Raw this week. Vince, Kevin Dunn.
Well, Vince told LaVar Ball he did a great job.
We must have read different sheets this week.
That's what I
Vince
read.
Was screaming. I don't know who the fuck knows what Vince McMahon thinks.
That segment.
And at the end of the day,
that was one of the worst segments I've ever seen.
The segment was terrible
on television.
But at the end of the day, they love that kind of publicity because it got everyone talking about Raw, good or bad. Vince loves any kind of publicity. It's been proven. It's documented with Vince McMahon in general. So that side of it, Vince had a nerdgasm from this shit. On the other side, they're a publicly traded company, the PG bullshit.
Yeah.
If anybody upset was backstage, I would have loved to see Stephanie's face during this. While she had her good pallies beside her from these foundations.
What did he just say?
Now, this is a tour of what we do backstage. and they walk by a monitor and beat that nigga ass. Yeah.
Imagine if they had like
Jesus Christ.
If they had like what's the word I'm looking for? If they had like
underprivileged
kids back there, like this is what we do back here, and then you hear that, and the kids are like, "Oh, this is just like at home."
Will you be serious? But anyway, let's get serious on this segment. Terrible.
Whole segment.
Who did this help? Who did this help?
Did they rehearse this at all?
The only person that got over was LaVar Ball and his sons. That's it.
It just felt like him and Miz were talking over each other the whole time. And then Dean Ambrose came out and basically had no purpose in the whole thing.
Well,
pardon me.
Apparently sent out there early, according to people backstage, to just pull the plug because it was that bad. Take the racial term out of this promo and all the controversy. It would have been a terrible fucking segment at the end of the day. But it had to be addressed here. As much as I did not want to talk about this segment.
God, it was fucking
awful. A lot of you guys have been blowing up my Twitter this week to get our thaughts. And we were going to talk about it. I don't know why you didn't think we would. It sounded like a bad segment
on our show. Except worse.
Way worse than anything on our
because I feel like we could have improv'd a lot better than they did.
A couple other things, Michael. I'm not going to go in full detail. I'll run down some things. And if you feel the need to stop on the segment, the lackluster ones, we'll... Speaking of that, we'll segue off that. Dean Ambrose, Heath Slater, and Rhino versus The Miz and his newfound stable, Bo and Axel. What did you think?
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on that, Travis.
As far as the stable?
Yes, the new Miz entourage. How do you feel about that with your buddy Bo and Curtis Axel?
Well, Bo needs a makeover because he looks like he's been eating behind dumpsters for the last 3 years. He just has like penis envy.
He cleaned up a little bit.
A little bit.
Look a little clean. He looked good.
They need to give him more of like if they're going to do a Hollywood stable, everyone needs to have a suit, a dress shirt, a polo at least. They need to look like they're worth it.
You want them to look like Legacy? You want him to look like fucking Evolution?
I didn't say
you want him
put
to look
him
like
on
every
undies.
other fucking stable.
At the end of the day, I'm happy, of course, to see Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel have something to do. They're both talented. It's not their fault. They've been given shit. Curtis Axel.
Do you think this maybe helps them springboard maybe into the tag division?
No, I just think it's something for them to do.
I could see it. I could see it if they actually put some time and effort into it, like they're showing me right now.
Maybe it's cannon fodder, guys.
I could see them springboarding just like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, just like they did when they were fucking Edge lookalikes.
Do you long for the days of the Edge heads, Mike?
No, I'm not talking about Edge heads. I'm talking about what were they called as a tag? The Rated R.
The Rated R Twins or something.
Or I forget what they were called. But they were former tag champs. So, I mean, think about it. Zack Ryder's held a tag belt and the Intercontinental title.
Speaking of Kurt Hawkins, he had a match with Seth Rollins this week, interrupted by Bray Wyatt.
Kurt got some shit in, though.
See that? He did. He got the tip in a little bit.
And I think that speaks a lot. I want to bring that up as well. You can tell who the classy guys are as far as top talent when it goes to matches like Finn Balor. Finn Balor did the same thing with Kurt Hawkins. He did the same thing with Bo Dallas. I'm sorry. He lets the guys get their shit in. Now, a lot of top talent, I don't think Roman Reigns would do that. I don't think Roman Reigns, I don't think he's that kind of guy that would let Kurt Hawkins get much shit in at all.
I don't know. We've never really seen Roman in a position lately with an underneath guy that low that he can work.
I'm just saying, you could tell
I think Roman would let a guy. I don't think Roman's a dick at the end of the day at all. But I will say that guy like Kurt Hawkins and Curtis Axel, when The Rock comes back, those are the guys he trains with. He tweets from hanging out with Curtis Axel. So they're the very company guys. They can always count on a Kurt Hawkins, Curtis Axel. So solid workers. They're just not everybody.
Two Kurts.
Yeah, the two Kurts. Make them a team. Fuck it. But this segment.
What do you do with Bo Leave?
So much better than the review of the 2K18 covered last week with Rob. That was so fucking bad. But this week they gave him less, which made it more, in my opinion. So this was a step in the right direction.
I did like the video they played. I didn't think it was a terrible video for the game. But the fact that they have to keep mentioning it does get a little old.
Yeah.
Mr. 2K18 is just fucking stupid. But in all reality, Seth Rollins, I feel like they're waiting to do something with him here. I don't know when it's going to.
They don't know what to do because they made the mistake, like we say time and time again. They stacked their fucking roster. A guy like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins right now, they're going to cancel each other out. And that's exactly what we're seeing. They just have nothing for them.
I think eventually you're going to see one of those two guys turn heel.
A big thing is going to be...
too many baby faces on Raw right now.
Exactly. And Brock needs to go away for a little bit. When Brock comes back around, a lot of these guys stagnate. And that's what sucks about...
From what I've read, Brock is the early odds-on favorite to win the Rumble. And he's supposed to go against Roman at WrestleMania.
That's yucky.
Again. Roman to headline yet another WrestleMania in a row.
Lince Dorado had a match with Neville this week. Good little match, nothing spectacular, but I thought these guys...
Kristen had a great question. I'm sorry to cut you off again.
By all means.
Kristen wants to know, is she the only one who thinks Bo may join his brother?
I booked that in my fantasy booking months ago on the show. I was like, why didn't they just make it like Stevie Richards and Raven were in WCW? How Stevie Richards was this dumbass follower, and Raven would beat his ass around, but Richards would follow him no matter what. That's what I would have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Bo Dallas.
I'm not going to say the other thing she just commented because it's a little gross.
Good. Let's slam pigs, Michael. What are you doing?
He got the tip in. Oh my.
Who got the tip in?
I don't know. Did one of us say that?
Hopefully not Raven. Because that's a dirty syphilis-filled
God,
tip.
I just saw a picture of Raven. Thank you for that, Kristen, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Jesus Christ. He looked like a cracked-out motherfucker that you see on Jonathan Street here in local...
He looked like Jason if you take the mask off?
Oh,
no, I'm saying.
It's awful.
95 Gold Dust was out there in his 95 attire.
I know you're loving this shit.
Oh, my God.
With the cameraman.
Guilty pleasure got me in the fields this week. This segment sucked. I'm not going to pretend like it was good, but I got a pop getting 95 Gold Dust attire in. But
I like it, to be honest with you.
It deserves better than R-Truth. It's 2017.
Well, he's got to start somewhere. Who's he supposed to start with? That's who he turned on.
But
maybe it goes somewhere.
You're telling me it didn't excite you to see Gold Dust in that attire this week?
It did excite me. I'm not saying anything. You're the one that's kind of bashing it because it's R-Truth.
Not a fan.
You act like fucking Ron Killings can't work.
It's just not a fan.
That son of a bitch is athletic as hell for being old.
It's not that he can't work. In 2017, R-Truth is below irrelevancy on a wrestling card. You know what I mean? Like, there's such
That's hateful.
It's not hateful. It's
It's
the
a little
truth.
hurtful.
A lot of people, the truth hurts. What does the truth
Jesus.
usually do? It hurts. Hurts you right in the dick.
Pun.
Here's something that was really good on Raw. 6-man tag, Finn Balor and the Hardys versus Cesaro, Sheamus, and the Drifter. The Drifter getting more play this week. They've given him a
I know
serious...
Logan's fucking coming in his pants.
I thought you would be too. I thought you were a big Drifter fan, Michael.
No.
They let him get his heat back on Balor last week.
I don't hate him, but I'm definitely not as
He
high.
looked good out there, though.
Logan's gonna have him as Universal Champ in a month. Jesus Christ!
What'd you think of the 6-man this week? That was a good match.
How many times I want to ask? Who do you think Logan brings up more on every show he's on, the Drifter or me?
Ari Daivari. I feel like I in the last couple weeks is got to be in the conversation too for people Logan brings up a lot, but probably you. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's a totally different ball game. I'm not going to go into. I mean, I understand you want to use a big personality to get yourself over, but it's not working, Logan.
Will you be serious?
It's just not going to happen.
Let Logan rest. The man just got home.
He's in the goddamn chat.
Hopefully resting in the chat.
I'm sure he's resting. He's resting with some KFC, some taters, maybe some extra crispy, some fucking green beans. Hopefully, you got to get a vegetable in sometime.
Finn Balor and the Hardys. What did you think of the match? Seriously, 6-man. That was good.
See, I just. Why are you always going to do that?
Because you talk about hurtful and hateful.
Well, he deserves it. You act like he doesn't deserve it. All the shit he's talked on me when I wasn't here. Jesus.
Well,
and then we're on the same show. He's silent. I throw little fucking punches at him, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right, Michael.
I'm going to review the 6-man.
I'm your bitch.
I'm taking your review away. Taking your privileges away for the match now. You lost it.
It was a 6-man tag match. I didn't give a shit about it.
You did? Okay. It was a good match, though, for what it was.
Thrown together match. Something else for Finn Balor to do.
All right. Big Cass and Enzo Amore this week, Michael. Plain black shirt Cass. No fucks given with any kind of thrown together logo for Cass. Just put on a plain black shirt. What did you think of this? Did they get you for a second, or you saw this coming from a mile away with the swerve?
Absolutely not.
Possible reconciliation? Put a promo together?
I didn't believe this one bit.
Good.
To be honest.
Think of the segment.
I feel like I've been watching wrestling long enough to know when this is... Like, it's the same thing they did with fucking Marty and Shawn. They had all that fucking tension, and then they're like, oh, we're going to get back together, though. And then, boom! Through the plate glass window.
So you didn't like the segment?
No. I mean, I do... The one thing I do really like is Enzo's acting in this.
My God.
Enzo makes you want to tear up a little bit.
He did. He cried. And it was when they first split last week, he cried. And it was... You got to give props to Big Cass, too, man. He's been doing really... Not so much this week as the week they split.
I feel like Enzo's definitely the better actor out of the two.
Well, yeah.
But... It's the whole angle. We've already gone over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious what they're doing with it.
Paul Heyman this week, Michael.
Yes, Kristen, I am a ball buster. I'm glad you like it. She just put Michael as a ball buster. I like him already. Evidently, she doesn't know me very well.
Well, there's your one fan, Michael.
That's the understatement of the fucking one fan. Are you kidding me?
Most people, I don't know.
Most people?
Michael's mean, blah, blah, blah. Izzy's mom hated us.
Who says that?
Izzy's mom hated us.
I wasn't even here for that. And you're blaming that shit on me? She was mad at you.
I'm just trying to get through Raw. Because we got patriotic.
I did see that picture of fucking Izzy at her Alexa Bliss gear.
That's what we can talk about, too. Izzy turned heel this week. She was on Twitter. She's decked out in Alexa Bliss gear.
Can you blame her?
No. With the way they book Bailey, even kids get it.
All right, she was first. Is that going to lead us to the women's gauntlet match?
I mean, I was going to talk about Paul Heyman and them, but let's go ahead to
Let's go ahead and segue to it. We don't have to go in order.
Good.
Fuck.
Good.
First ever, I believe, women's gauntlet match on Raw?
Possibly. If not, the first one in years.
That's how it was advertised, from what I saw.
Everything's a first ever with the women anymore.
First one out, Bailey. Because she hasn't been fucking given anything to do since losing the belt. Second one out, Nia Jax comes out. Here is where I'm a little confused. Pardon me for a second. I'm getting over a cold. I got to get out a little cough here. For all you kids at home, don't smoke cigarettes. But to have these two start the match, I know there's talent on Raw, and I know they're trying to build up Sasha Banks here, which was kind of predictable. I could kind of tell it was going to be Sasha, especially after they half pulled the trigger on Nia, but didn't really, like they've been doing. Annoys me even more. if you're gonna pull the trigger on Nia Jax, just fucking do it. But
Now or never.
to start this with Bayley and Nia was kind of unexpected, so I will give them props for that. But
do they give us, for the women on Raw, have they given us a reason to care about any of this, though? Because you're going to talk about entrance. Even the order of Bayley and Nia Jax.
Well, they still, my biggest problem with this whole thing is they still have Sasha Banks as a babyface.
Right.
Which I guess is supposed to make sense now because Alexa Bliss is there.
I'm surprised they've kept that turn not happening yet. They've kept that consistent with Bayley and Sasha. I
still have a problem with rooting for Sasha Banks. I'm sorry. I've watched her long enough in NXT. I enjoy her much better as a heel. And I think anybody who's ever met the woman knows that she plays a much better bitch than she does a nice lady.
All the horror stories you hear from fans.
She's not exactly a fan-friendly person.
She's not a little doll baby. There it is.
Oh, Jesus.
Back, Christ. Michael.
I'm glad Jim isn't in the chat because he'd be fucking upset.
He'd be puking on his
He'd be madder than I am.
He hates it. But what else went down on this women's? Because honestly, I'm not going to lie. They've given me this little interest that I tapped out. I'm just catching up on this.
Well, Nia Jax, after Bayley, just ran through everybody until Sasha Banks was last. Nia Jax ran through Bayley, Mickie James, the puffy-lipped, what's her name? Muscle-bound chick.
Tamina. In a way, though...
No, that's SmackDown. I'm talking about...
Dana Brooke.
Yes, Dana Brooke.
In a way, though, Sasha and Alexa, because they're...
God, Dana Brooke is just weird-looking. When they do close-ups on her face, her lips just kill me, because her lips look like she's had work done or something, because... You see her talk, but her lips are just like...
They look like two pieces
like you just blew up a fucking balloon.
Strawberry saltwater taffy. Hashtag. I can see them complimenting each other because Alexa plays the bitch so good. Sasha plays the bitch so good. It's kind of inevitable that... obviously, she's got to move on from Bayley. This is probably the smartest route to go right now as far as credible contenders. Because who else do you have they could be taken seriously? Even Nia Jax, the way they booked her. You're going to put Emma in there already?
Well, my biggest issue was the way they've kind of stuttered and stop and goed with Nia Jax. If you're going to fucking push the chick, push her. You know what I mean? She should have, in my opinion, she should have had the belt already. She should have been the one to take it off Bayley, in my opinion. Not Alexa Bliss. I feel like Alexa Bliss should have taken it off of somebody else.
I'm not going to lie, though. The still image of Alexa and Sasha at the end of this with the title held up, I didn't hate it.
I don't think it's going to be a terrible match. But I feel like all this time and effort has been put into Nia Jax, and they just bring Alexa Bliss over and like, here's the belt.
Here's somebody I wanted to get you.
And I love Alexa Bliss. You know how I feel about Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, well, we all love Alexa Bliss. Here's someone I want to get your thoughts on because she's on NXT, and they made a big deal. But you know what I'm talking about. Sonya Deville, this MMA fighter chick with the... She's awful in the ring.
Not very good
The fans aren't reacting the way they want them to. Do you see... I think they could turn her heel. And they could do the whole gimmick of where MMA is better than wrestling, and that'll get heat.
She needs a lot of improvement.
She does. She is not ready. She is so not ready. I don't know why they're ushering with all these vignettes. Like they're gonna expose her. I think they already have, in my opinion, in the first week that she's been prominently featured for a build-up match. But anyway, I want to get your thoughts on Sonya Deville from NXT because I'm not digging it at all. I don't know why I'm thinking of the Brawl for All when I think of Sonya Deville.
Looks like
when you mix real fight.
She looks like the other chick that just passed away a few months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. What was her name?
What's her face?
Nicole Bass. Yes.
No, she's not that bad. What are you talking about? Nicole Bass looks like fucking Brooklyn Brawler.
Well, she's not that big, but she definitely looks...
God.
Nicole
Iron Mike Sharp with long hair and a breast job is Nicole Bass, basically. That was... Michael.
Iron Mike Sharp just made it on our show. Congratulations.
Her baby
we're probably gonna get cut off the air now.
Because Iron Mike Sharp?
Yes, because he's gonna use his copyright.
Rest in peace, Iron. He's dead. He passed away.
His family will.
Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman segment. I think if anything's been consistently good to great every week, it's been
predictability, though.
What did you think of this? Joe sneaky attacking him. Brock from behind. Brock billed as the babyface or a tweener going to this? We're not sure. I'm still saying he's a tweener because he's Brock Lesnar. It's really hard to like it in general as a babyface fully anyway. I just see it being a heel and a tweener going at it. Two fucking forces. I think it's not going to be a 5-star match, but I think it's going to be an intense, stiff as shit match. We can kind of bounce onto Balls predictions here in a second if you want off this.
Ooh.
At least the Balls matches we know.
Did I read somewhere that Balls Mahoney died this week as well?
Balls Mahoney died like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Axel Rotten died last year.
Okay, sorry.
Not this week, though. What did you think of the segment, Michael? Were you down with Clown?
I mean, it's very predictable for me. It's what I called going into it, I believe, when we did the post show. We said that Joe was going to have to be booked very strong to make him look credible to Brock Lesnar, because after the whole Brock Lesnar-Goldberg thing, Brock Lesnar has been built as this invincible force once again, and Joe has not, to be honest. Joe's losing to Seth Rollins, and magically he's the #1 contender.
But since Joe's beat Roman.
Yes, it makes
Roman fucking
well,
taps.
like I said, they booked him strong, like they have to.
But is it too little? Because it's working. It's obviously working with the smarks on the internet, the fans in attendance. It's
a lot
working.
of people, this is their dream match to begin with.
It was more of a case. I'll say you just said Nia Jax. It's now or never.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that was where they were with Joe, now or never, and they decided to take now, and they're seeing that it's paying off. And if they continue to book Joe this strong, I think they're going to have a tremendous monster heel on their hands at the end of the day if they do it right.
Depends on what they do with this.
Worst case scenario, Joe's like Snitsky. Fucking.
Dude, Snitsky made it now?
Like, no, they would.
Jesus Christ, you got Mike Sharp, Snitsky. Anybody else you want to plug?
I wanted to welcome you back. Later, stick around for Corporal Kirshner and our patriotic angles later.
You need a Nikita Koloff?
Sometimes you just do.
Who else you want?
So did you see the sneak attack coming in this segment, or you thought, like, did that take you by surprise?
I kind of saw it.
Like, Brock got nothing in this. Because they went through the screen. That was cool.
Well, no, it's been kind of consistent the past few weeks. When you say Joe's name, he appears and comes at you, whether it's from behind or right in front of you. So it wasn't like a total shock but that rear naked choke, that fucker looked like it was tight, because you could see Brock's face turn red and purple.
Well, it was that too, because you know how workers, when they're they squeeze, how to make your face turn red. I didn't know Brock was capable of fucking psychology like that. So
Brock's been put in a rear naked choke or two, so
we don't see. What I'm saying, we don't see him put in positions.
You see Brock get angry and his face turns red.
It's always interesting when you see Brock book into a weak position. It's always worked with Brock because you're not used to seeing it, and it elicits a reaction, and that's good. And I thought this segment was great. It was my favorite part of Raw. I will go ahead and give this show, I guess, like a C+, B-. It could have been better. It could have been a lot worse. But Lavar Ball really stopped the show from being anywhere in the B's for me.
It gets a C for me.
Yeah. I will say before we review SmackDown here in a second, Raw was better this week, I think. You might totally disagree. I hope you do, so it makes for an interesting show. But
we'll get there. But, I mean, I feel like we need... I know we're live, but I feel like we need a 5-minute intermission.
I don't know about 5. We'll take a few.
Yeah. Little cooler jets. I need a beer refill.
Sounds good.
You may need an herbal supplement refill.
Nope. Rob Van Dam's on my speed dial. But we come back, we're going to talk SmackDown and our favorite patriotic wrestlers, angles, and our least favorite for our 4th of July special with our good pals in the chat. Stick around.
Your hero.
I'll go ahead and say it now because it comes natural now. I'll say it later.
Can't get that on the network anymore, by the way. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's time for this week's SmackDown review.
Yeah. Hey, yo, it's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. I'm ready to smell fear, I smell a lot. My competitors flex here. When they smelled I was hot, I want it all. Excess, the sex, much success, stress us. I want it all, no less. So come on.
We are back, Slam Picks Podcast, episode 71, July 4th special.
Motherfuckers!
Celebrate America, Michael.
I know that's your line, but I'm stealing it this week.
Thank all you
Back,
guys.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Well, I'm excited until we have to talk about SmackDown in a second, because it wasn't that great. Again, SmackDown's been slipping the past couple weeks, Michael.
What happens when you have Jinder as your champ?
Don't you dare. That's not the problem with SmackDown, in my opinion. I'm enjoying the gender run because it's different. It's something it's something everyone's wanted. Everybody bitched that we're not getting anything new, and then everybody gets something new, and we bitch!
You weren't with me when we bitched about Jinder? When he won the belt?
Where to begin? I know you got a lot to say with... I do too. The booking of Lana this week from last week is like night and fucking day. Michael, Lana versus Naomi for the title. Build up rather well. I was surprised how much build they gave this match, but c'est la vie, Lana, just not meant to be on this night. A squash, putting Bear Horowitz and Iron Mike Sharp to shame. Speak the devils. What did you think of Lana?
Horowitz in here.
I would say what you think of the match, but this wasn't a match, Michael.
It wasn't very good. It wasn't much of a match. It was basically I feel like Creative has pretty much pulled the plug on Lana already, which is a little unfair. But
I wouldn't say that.
I think it's unfair.
No, I'm not saying it's not unfair. I'm saying I don't think they pulled the plug. Maybe this was for shock value.
Well, how does she come back from this?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. Are they just killing time till Rusev comes back?
This girl's debut match was for the title, and then her second match is for the title, and she gets squashed. Mm-hmm. Both times, I believe she's gotten her finisher in.
Yep.
And it's done nothing.
The shitty
Tensai
bomb or whatever.
So you've basically taken this woman, built her up like she's fucking King Kong of women, and squashed her in 1 week. Not even 1 week, in 3 days, because they had the pay-per-view on Sunday and then they had SmackDown in 2 days, on Tuesday. So
they squashed her in this match. I don't think they have, but are you going to say the B word? They beat her buried.
Yeah. How does she come back from this, to be honest?
I don't know if you can. I don't know.
It's that experiment. This is another thing that has Vince written all over it. He had to get that fucking gimmick in. No matter who it was. It couldn't be done with Emma. So he had to do it with Lana. And everybody knows why Lana was built as a manager, because she spent plenty of time down in NXT training.
She's been working house shows in years. Speaking of our friend Kristen, she lives down there and she goes to these house shows. I'm sure she's seen Lana work. She's better than Eva Marie.
Yeah, she's not a great worker. So it's just, she's very basic in the ring with what she does. Luckily, for the most part, she doesn't botch it, which is great. She has good wrestling instincts. That's what I'll give to her. She has good instincts when she doesn't know what to do, she grabs a hold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That speaks to the performance.
Which is much better than a lot of today's women. Because a lot of today's women have worked on the indie scene and they think, we can just do this. If we need to pump up the crowd's dead, so let's do this.
WWE prefers it now when it's somebody with no indie skills and because they can just form them from scratch as opposed to changing something they've come into for years. And that's totally right. Do you think they're going to separate Lana from Rusev? Like, they're going to keep them apart, or do you think they're just killing time till... I know you want to talk about Rusev, too, and the head-scratching booking.
Yes.
Let's segue into that.
Yes, I feel like this has to segue into them being back together. Because of the botch on the Rusev angle that they've done. Basically, Jinder Mahal is in Rusev's spot. This was the original spot for Rusev on SmackDown. I know you disagree with it. We talked about it before we went on the air. Rusev was originally slated to be Jinder Mahal. I mean, just the Russian version. Especially with the Russian...
Bulgarian.
The same thing.
No, same thing. It's not the same thing.
Russia and Bulgaria.
Sorry to our Bulgarian
right
and Russian
next to each other.
listeners who Michael thinks you're the same fucking people.
Nobody watches us from Bulgaria. There's like 12 people that live there.
And now we're going to get like 4 new subs next week. They're all going to be Bulgarian.
Jesus.
And now we're going to have to apologize to our Bulgarian demographic.
I don't apologize to anybody.
Well, I will have to do it for you.
Well, you do it. Because I don't do that shit.
Yeah, like he announced...
I say what I mean what I say, and that's how it fucking goes.
They kept putting clips of him backstage saying, I'm coming. Next week I will be there.
And they totally balked on it because of them pulling the trigger on Jinder Mahal.
And the other reason I disagree with the gender thing off air earlier was because I think that because they know how big they are and popular in India, and they want an Indian, even though he's Canadian.
Well, because Vince has this thing where he wants to go off of pop culture at the time, and at the time when he was building that Rusev angle, there was that
Vladimir
Russian,
Putin. And the news.
there was that Russian investigation on our president and others.
Pyro forces. I don't know if you guys picked that up. My neighbors have been shooting off.
We live in
fireworks.
Redneck USA, so everybody's setting off fireworks.
Listen.
I don't think they can hear it.
Give us one more pyro shot.
Nope.
All over our face.
Ew.
No, they've been shooting off fucking fireworks all night. It's kind of annoying, honestly.
But it's to the point where Vince was probably like, well, this isn't interesting anymore, so let's go with gender. It's kind of, you could tell the balk that they did on it. Because that was my view when we went over the prediction show for what was the pay-per-view? Was it? It wasn't Money in the Bank.
Backlash.
Yes,
Jinder
Backlash. Where Jinder won the belt. Originally, the plans were for Jinder to just be a filler talent in the title picture to help pump him up a little bit to be more credible.
To get to Rusev?
To get to Rusev,
yeah.
Yes. Basically, well, you beat India, you cannot beat Russia.
I don't know if they think that far ahead anymore, honestly, with the booking. Now, I know Road Dogg's had a booking on SmackDown. It's come out. He's done a pretty good job, but like I said earlier, they've been slipping the past couple weeks. Let's go ahead and get to gender. Came out, not a terrible promo from Orton. It seemed like he was been carried.
It's very JBL-esque.
He's not phoning in.
As many times he's been compared to JBL. It's very JBL-esque. He comes in that white limo.
Right. Well, as we all saw coming, it was announced that we saw on the news this week. I'll see you in a Punjabi prison. Punjabi prison. Like his hero, the Great Khali, which was an actual line, which
Jesus Christ
got a little pop for me, I'm not going to lie. But that was your inspiration to get into the business, even though you're
My
Canadian.
hero is a worker right there.
But Michael, Punjabi prison announced for the next SmackDown pay-per-view. What do you think? You know what?
I think it's going to be a good match.
I do too. I have not hated this feud as much as I did. I thought Randy would phone it in. No, we've got nothing but entertainment with throwing the Singh brothers on their fucking heads and Bob Orton and Greg Gagne and all kinds of
I just want to
goodness.
see one of the Singh brothers get spiked on one of those fucking Punjabi things.
I
just want to see him die.
I'm not advocating murder, for fuck's sake. Christ.
I feel like
this isn't Mortal Kombat.
Well, Randy's been pushing the envelope to fucking kill him regardless. I mean, we saw how he throws him around with no regard.
Now, we said it at Money in the Bank, excuse me. Randy seemed like he wasn't phoning it in as much because we all know Randy phones it in a lot because it was in St. Louis. But even this week, it seemed like he's been trying harder. I don't want to say that, but I don't know any other term to describe it. Do you get that
He's
vibe?
Been trying harder? You mean he's been doing his job?
He gives two shits. Do you think it's this ... dive on Twitter? Like he's got something to prove now to his darling internet indie friends? Or do you think I'm just reading too much into it?
I think you're reading too much into it. I think we all know Randy Orton is not the same talent that he was 10 years ago, obviously, when he was... The biggest thing that caught my eye with Randy Orton is that explosive capability in the ring where he could just...
The drop kicks, all that stuff.
Well, all that stuff where a match could be kind of floundering a little bit and then bam, he hits a move, you're like, holy shit.
I think he can pull that out of the hat sometimes. We just don't see it as much.
Yeah, it's to the point where Randy, I think he knows what he's supposed to do and what his job is these days. He's a 13-time, 14-time champion?
He's at a stage where politics don't phase him backstage. He's a made man at the end of the day. He's just having fun.
He knows he's not going anywhere.
He's going home to his beautiful Italian model wife and just plugging away.
Much better than his first one because anybody who's seen the Orton DVD saw that first one. You're like, ooh.
But, I'm excited. I'm glad I didn't think you'd be excited for that. I thought we were going to be salty to each other. I'm excited for Punjabi prison because anything's got to be better than Great Khali to go off your basis. So, guys, stop comparing it to the Great Khali.
We also had The Undertaker and, who was in that Punjabi prison match with him?
It was Khali Taker and,
No, it wasn't Khali Taker. It was Khali Batista.
Excuse me.
Batista and Khali, and then The Undertaker, For those in the chat, please tell me who The Undertaker went against in the Punjabi prison match.
That's how great it was. We don't remember.
It was the first ever one. It didn't have anybody.
I'm telling you, it was Khali and Taker. And then it was Batista.
No,
I don't know.
There's times Batista and Khali and The Undertaker and somebody else.
Let's speaking of something else I'd like to forget. God, I wish the Hype Brothers would go away. It's just
well, at least they're getting beat.
If they turn Ryder heel, I think it could work.
I think that's the.
If anyone's due for a gimmick change, it's Ryder. You know what I mean?
If you're gonna turn somebody heel out of those two, I would make it Mojo.
You would do
Rawley.
Mojo?
Yeah.
Would you give him a Russian gimmick and just call him Nikita Koloff since he looks just fucking like him?
No.
He could pull off a Russian meathead gimmick though, pretty easily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mojo Rawley's just that prototype for that gimmick.
I just think I've said it before. Mojo Rawley just has that face that you just don't want to cheer.
But once again, the wrestling gods had her back this week. Thank the stars and the fucking skies above that the Usos retained. I didn't hate the match. I thought it was a decent little match. I'm loving the Usos right now, especially in my opinion.
Had a little hiccup against the New Day at the pay-per-view. It was a botchy match.
Well, it happens. Not a terrible match though. At the same time, just a little sloppy. I think we said that.
They're scheduled to have a rematch.
But then you had the New Day come out and he had a face-off promo, and I thought the Usos came off great. Like they're getting over with just being themselves. Who knew, Vince? But the New Day, for what it's worth, they were pretty funny in this.
Stop making them smile and fucking chant Samoan fucking whatever it's called.
Day one-ish? Oh, that's their shirt.
Yeah.
Their t-shirt.
But stop making them chant shit when they come out to the ring with their stupid face paint and let them be themselves. Yeah, Thank you. Jesus Christ.
I'm interested to see this rematch. And it goes to show what we say, and our friend Brosi said when I was a guest on the show.
My big question here with the Usos, do you think this was done by accident? Or do you think it was done that, like, because my biggest thing on this is I feel like creative was like, oh, this is working. We didn't think it was going to work. We were just giving them something to do to keep them relevant.
I thought you meant was turning them heel on accident. No, I think that they knew they were.
I feel like turning them heel was done on purpose.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they thought they were going to get this result out of it.
Honestly, I think creative probably thought American Alpha would be the most over team by now, and Usos would have just got those guys over, but it's backwards.
Yeah. Like, where has American Alpha been?
Doing United States Open challenges in Dayton, Ohio. Jack Gable and Owens last week. But yeah, I'm so glad they didn't get the belts, and I'm looking forward to this match.
By the way.
Yeah. Well, Owens and Gable. Yeah. I praised that match last. It reminded me of when Scott Steiner was like, he would wrestle Flair in like '89, and the Steiners would have singles matches against the world title guys sometimes. It was good. I liked it. Women's Money in the Bank rematch, Michael.
It was better.
It was better. I will say that. It was actually much better as far as the match. The finish.
It was what I expected at the pay-per-view.
The finish, I'm glad they went Carmella again. I'm glad they didn't cater to like a Dana Bryan.
Well, because they went through all that trouble to get fucking No Chin out of the building, and he was still back in the building anyway.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with this. That's banning him from the building.
Who's working security there?
How'd he get back?
Where they can't keep this 150-pound fucking No Chin weird-looking dude from getting back in the building.
Is it Briscoe and Patterson doing security? Is that who's in head of your fucking security? Because that just didn't make... That was the only thing I didn't like. The match, like we said, was so much better. They actually used spots with a ladder. Tamina fell on her fucking face. Yes. Was great.
Which I knew would happen. She's the leaning tower of fucking Pisa. Especially when she gets up on that top rope. I told you, when she does that splash, it looks like she's falling off the rope. Did I not say that? Go back a couple weeks ago when I said it.
It's kind of reminiscent of Vicky Guerrero.
She's supposed to be tributing her dad, and all she's doing is just shitting on him.
And then we would see later on 205 Live after SmackDown, Drew Gulak. Did you see that? Where he was scared to go up top? Yeah. The best part of 205 Live this week, by far. But yeah, the women's
Undertaker versus Big Show. Thank you, Logan. That was the first Punjabi.
See, you shit on Logan, and look who had your back. It's drop of a hat.
Logan's got a lot of free time.
Are you serious?
He doesn't have a goddamn life.
So that is your basis. Batista and Khali, Big Show, and Taker. So hopefully, undoubtedly, this Punjabi.
What are you doing, Logan? You playing some Madden while you're listening to the show?
Will you stop?
You're not doing anything fucking worthwhile.
But the match.
Not contributing to society at all. Just sponging off of the fucking world.
Is it surprising to you that Becky Lynch somehow has become the most over in these matches? Like I thought it might have been Charlotte or.
Yeah, I don't feel like they've utilized Charlotte enough, but like I said before, I feel like they're trying to be safe with her. They don't want to get her injured because they know that's going to be the staple of their brand eventually.
Yeah,
it's just they're trying not to pull the trigger on that right now.
They want to save it for when more
SummerSlam. Whatever they want to do with it, I don't think
this fall or something.
It's
way down the line though.
Obviously, it's going to be Charlotte and probably Becky Lynch eventually. That would be my pick. Unless they do another gimmick match at WrestleMania where it's a triple threat or whatnot with.
They have given Becky Lynch of all the women
Naomi
in these lackluster promos when they all come out and interrupt and beg Daniel Bryan pretty much.
I want the SmackDown belt.
Well, they're giving her the most sympathetic babyface line, and that's probably what's getting her over the most. But I don't know. But
Can
I mean,
I get a nostalgic Becky Lynch butterfly belt?
I want to go for that butterfly belt.
Love it.
Other than that, on SmackDown, Sami Zayn interrupted Mike and Maria Kanellis this week.
I like it, by the way.
The Mike and Maria gimmick?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I do like it. I think it's getting over. Some people may come at me. They don't like it. But I think it's going to get over. I like the way that they're coming across to me. It doesn't feel rehearsed.
Well, because they're really husband and wife.
Well, that, and I feel like on the microphone, they both come across as this...
Unlikable.
Well, I feel like they've taken the Miz and Maurice's place.
Well, that's also in the rumors. We talked about that last week, too. You missed.
Yeah.
That's asinine to split up Miz and Maurice, by the way. And because these two came along, they're on different brands, for one, and Mike and Maria are good, but in my opinion, not nearly as good.
Well, the Miz and Maurice aren't split up at all. They've kind of...
Right, but a lot of people were saying that, and that's what I was saying in the last week.
They were teasing it, but it didn't happen.
That's what I figured they would do. It was a swerve job, and they got it. That's something we forgot.
Now they have the Miz-tourage.
Baron Corbin getting the win over Sami Zayn was the other. They had a good little match.
So, another weird thing, because I think we've said it before, with the people that win the Money in the Bank, they can go two ways with them. They can have them be strong as fuck, or they can just lose. They can bury the shit out of them for a month or two. You know what I mean? It depends on how they want to do it.
Yeah.
But...
Now, Michael, this Tuesday on SmackDown, July 4th, for our July 4th special, we've been hearing it for weeks.
Logan, don't get hot. I don't want you to get all fired up in the chat.
What's he getting hot about?
I'm supporting you, jackass.
Oh, God.
He's mad because I'm giving him shit. You mean like you did for a fucking month on Twitter when I wasn't on Twitter? God, don't get your vagina all fucking hurt. I know you went in and had a labia surgery and had it all taken care of, so you should really not be so sensitive.
John Cena, You Can't See Me, comes back Tuesday.
Coming back Tuesday.
Let's,
woo!
You know what? Come at me, guys.
I'm excited for it.
I've missed John Cena on SmackDown.
I never thought I'd say it.
I never fucking thought I'd say that.
God.
Christ, when you
bookmark this on your
timestamp.
Yes. Fucking do it, because you may never hear it again.
We say it all the time, though. I've seen this coming. It always happens. As much as people bitch about Cena when he's around, when he goes away, people end up missing the guy, and they don't admit it. He's noticeably absent, for one, as far as star power on SmackDown. Let's go ahead and fantasy book his comeback Tuesday, Michael. What do you think John Cena's doing? You think he goes gender? Where do you see him going?
Well, I hope they're not going to do a retrend with him and Kevin Owens.
I don't see that.
I hope that's not going to happen.
No.
I think that's the most predictable thing they could do, is have him challenge Gender. And I don't feel like anybody would really be angry at it, because Gender's doing that so anti-America gimmick that here comes fucking Captain America, John Cena. I'm a Marine, but I never served in the military. Fucking gimmick.
It's my reality show.
Yeah.
True Grit. It's fucking terrible. It's every stereotype from reality show.
I just graduated high school and lifted a lot of weights, but I'm going to act like I was in the military.
I don't think that Gender's the right route. As obvious as a booking as that is, and I know...
Baron?
Huh?
Put him on Corbin?
No. I think for SummerSlam, I think they put him with Nakamura as that big dream money match for SmackDown. Because I think they're going to do Braun and Brock for SummerSlam as the attraction match for Raw. You go Nakamura and Cena, with Nakamura going over, by the way. I'm not putting Cena over Nakamura at SummerSlam. Speaking of now or never,
shit.
You got to do it. You can't keep...
You're just fucking booking shit like to shock people.
You want to buy a ticket to my show, Michael?
Watch Nakamura beat Cena?
It's got little Knockies and Johnnies going for it.
Well, I mean, it'd be like Daniel Bryan beat it. It's the same fucking move.
That's what I would do.
I
would not. I think it's too obvious to put him with Gender.
Can I just say that JBL gets way too excited for Nakamura's finish?
Can we say that how shitty Nakamura's finish looks week by week by week? They're shooting the camera angles on it wrong or something that they weren't doing on Smack. It just looks bad.
And of course, JBL's Shinsasa.
What would you do with John Cena, though, Michael?
He calls him Shin.
He does. And he acts like they're pals. They go play golf and shit together.
And evidently, Kristen wants to whip out her whip and spank us.
John, you're hot. Shinsuke and John playing golf.
Yeah, that totally just went right by you. You didn't.
Well, I'm trying to get to the Cena thing.
We got women in the chat that want to spank us with a whip.
I don't want to be spanked with a whip.
I don't either. I don't either.
And we're on air, and that's inappropriate.
I
don't want to come on air. I said it. I'll be that guy.
Ew.
Michael!
Jesus.
What do you do with Cena when he comes back? You can put him with Jinder, and that's fine.
To be honest, I'd put him with Corbin. I feel like
for SummerSlam or just
I feel like Corbin's been a giant bully. That's how he's been booked. And I feel like Cena has always been that anti-bully kind of guy.
Oh Christ, be a star, John.
What? That's how they booked him. You know what I mean? And he's picking on Sami Zayn. He picks on everybody. He picked on Dean Ambrose, and John Cena could be that guy that comes in, hey, big fella.
You're making Ambrose out to be like Urkel now. John Cena's Ambrose doesn't get bullied. He's just like the scruffy, grungy
just
guy.
Saying. I mean, he made Ambrose look like shit. So it's I
could see that.
I could see him working with Corbin to kind of massage Corbin into that main event picture to make him more credible when he cashes in.
Corbin over, obviously, I'm guessing.
No, I put Cena over. But that helps Corbin be in that main event picture. If he can go, even if he loses to Cena, if he puts on a really good match with Cena, I think that boosts his stock.
In 2017, let's be honest, that's all you need at the end of the day.
Can we get a slow build?
Kenny Omega didn't win those matches. Matches,
You're talking about him going over Cena at SummerSlam or something.
No, I totally agree. It would make it unpredictable for him to successfully cash in if he keeps losing that way.
I feel like it needs a slow build. You put him against upper echelon talent, he doesn't have to go over them, but at least be competitive to where you start to because do we really think of Baron Corbin as a world title guy right now? No, he needs to work with somebody like Cena. Yeah. That's how I'd book it, at least.
I mean, Jinder didn't, and Jinder's kind of looks.
They did it backwards with Jinder. That was my problem with it. It's not that Jinder's a champion. I don't want because people gave me a lot of shit about that. It's not that Jinder's a champion. It's how they booked it. They booked it totally backwards. They had him win this number one contender match, then they built him up to be a star.
They miscast it. They didn't book it backwards. They put a underdog, a babyface overcoming a battle royal or beat the clock or whatever. That's made for a babyface. You want your heels to cheat and get their victories handed to them.
It was done backwards, though. Yeah. He should have been built up before that match. You know what I mean? That's how it should have been built. That's how wrestling is supposed to be done. Whether you're a heel or a babyface, it should make fucking sense.
But I think as far as Jinder and the title going into SummerSlam, you might totally agree. I think Styles and Jinder at SummerSlam, perfect guy.
Absolutely.
Perfect guy.
Where is SummerSlam this year? Does anybody know? Is it anywhere down south?
Is it in Brooklyn again?
It might be. It might be in LA
I know
this year.
No, it's not in LA. They just ran LA this week or past week.
But it's to the point where if they did it anywhere down south by Georgia, fucking AJ Styles is.
And if there's any fucking talent that could make Jinder look like he's having a decent match, it's AJ fucking Styles.
AJ Styles could have a good match.
There's my 3 main SmackDown matches for SummerSlam I just booked ahead of time. Let's go ahead and do it before we get into our patriotic part real quick. We're not going to book the entire Balls show. Let's just talk about the big one, really, because we're running out of time for the show. Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar. I'm still sticking to my guns. I think this entire time we've seen Paul Heyman subconsciously praising Joe, how he has no fear. I'm still calling a swerve. I'm still saying Heyman turns on Brock and he goes with Joe as his manager. I'm telling you, man. I got that fucking feeling. And Braun Strowman and Brock somehow are going to end up working each other at SummerSlam. That's what I'm calling. That's fine. What do you see happening at Balls?
I just don't see Heyman leaving.
Great
Brock.
Balls and Mahoney. There it is. Hashtag.
It's already been done before it didn't work when he left Brock for the Big Show.
Yeah.
It totally fell flat. And I think that's what will happen again. I feel like Brock and Braun don't need a face versus heel gimmick. I feel like that should be your match at SummerSlam, whether you like it or not. It's probably going to be Roman that goes over Braun in the ambulance match, and it's going to be fucking something stupid. It's going to be Roman and Brock, or whatever they do. Whether it's Braun costing Brock his championship match to set it up for no title at all, which would be stupid. You have these
Braun and Brock?
Yes, for no belt.
He needs no belt. That he needs absolutely
it would be
no
awesome
belt.
at SummerSlam.
For a belt?
Yes!
You put Joe and Balor for the belt at SummerSlam.
No.
Yes. Yes.
You put Joe and Roman for the belt at SummerSlam if you're going to...
Get out of my building!
And then Roman holds the belt till fucking WrestleMania.
Who said that? Get that guy out of our fucking meeting, please. Get that fucking Roman guy.
That's the way it's going to happen.
It should have been, I don't know. Anyway.
This is my yard now.
Ambulance
Next week,
match.
this is my yard now.
Ambulance match. Braun and Roman.
Did you say ambulance?
I did not. I said ambulance.
Okay.
I'm not Logan. Michael, who do you... I'm sorry, Logan. Who do you got in this match?
You just made fun of Logan.
Shut your mouth.
Logan, did you hear that shit? See? Make me out to be the asshole.
Well, you say it wrong, Logan. I'm sorry. You pronounce ambulance wrong.
For Cruise Control over here picking on you. Hear that shit?
Braun and Roman, Michael, what do you got? I don't think this match really needs to happen right now. I think it's an unneeded match. I think Payback
I felt like their rivalry should have been ended already.
Payback.
Yeah.
This doesn't need to be happening. But since it is, what's your prediction on this match? And what's the right prediction? You know?
If I'm Vince, obviously it's going to be Roman that goes over. It's just the fucking way it goes. But if they're smart, it's Braun that goes over. Braun goes over, wins this match, goes to SummerSlam, challenges for the belt, and wins the belt until the Royal Rumble or whenever. Whenever they decide to take it off, Braun will not be at WrestleMania with that belt. Just they're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. But I would have Braun take it from Brock at SummerSlam, to be honest. I feel like that would set up Brock's departure for a few months to set up that re-rival. I know the early plans are for Brock and Roman at WrestleMania, but I would have a rematch Brock and Strowman at WrestleMania. Whether it's for a belt or not, that's when you don't need a belt because you've already established the rivalry and you want to salivate on it a little bit. You're like,
rematch actually.
You want to sink your you want to sink your teeth into it. It doesn't need a belt then, but it needed a belt at WrestleMania because you've already seen Goldberg fucking squash Brock twice. So if you do it this way, I feel like it would. That's how I would book it. Now, call me crazy, but I don't know too many people that wouldn't want to watch my fucking show if I booked it.
We act like there's no butts in the seats of mine, Tony Schiavone. I think I book well. We just have different philosophies.
Well, no, you have. I could book WrestleMania right now if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna, because
I could book the whole fucking show. I could book the whole goddamn show.
That's the biggest problem, Michael. Like, two regular Joes like you and me can just literally sit in the Slam Pig studio, and it's the creative team makes it so much harder than it really is to write a wrestling show.
I could book the whole entire show, including cruiserweights.
And the glory days of the WWF and all that shit. It was just Patterson and Vince at his pool. It was like a couple guys, Cornette, Pritchard, writing the show. There's like 30 guys on this fucking creative team at the end of the day. Writers, all that shit.
Definitely costing Kristen some sleep, but she loves it.
Well,
she said waking up for work in the morning is going to be rough. But
sorry, not sorry we kept you up. Thank you for sticking around.
She said it's so worth it, though.
I'm glad.
That's what I like to hear.
Hell yeah. That's why I love going live now. I'm glad we figured it out.
Yeah.
But Michael, at the end of the day, what do you I don't know, man. Are you excited for Great Balls of Fire?
How would you book Brock and Roman?
Oh, that's right. It's my turn. I would actually put Braun over Strong, but I don't know if it would be completely clean. I don't know right now who I would have in there costing Roman anything. I don't know who that guy would be. The way they're booking Joe in a program with Brock, who's left really as far as and that goes back to you said. There's too many faces right now on Raw. There just is.
Turn one of them heel.
Bray Wyatt, but who the fuck wants to see Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns again? And I think WWE knows that. They need to just not do that.
What about Seth Rollins?
Turning Seth Rollins heel again? I don't think so because they just made him the poster boy. And by the way, I didn't get your thoughts on that amazing fucking trailer for 2K18.
I said I liked it.
That's how they need to book him on the show. Shit. I don't think if anybody Balor, and you got the club right there. I still say Balor's just not working right now. It's not panning out like they thought.
Get a little flat, yeah.
Why not form him with the club right now?
Well, have we seen any fucking demon paint?
Maybe you could
see... One time we saw some demon paint. That was at SummerSlam
maybe
last year. It's been a year.
Maybe Balor cost Roman a match? I don't know what to do. But that goes back to this match shouldn't be happening. I don't know how to book this match because it doesn't need to happen, I guess, at the end of the day. I don't know. But no, it's not because I said Braun. I would put Braun over, but
you didn't give me it doesn't make me want to watch it. You didn't give me any fucking ending.
Well, maybe that's why I'm Ed Ferrara and you're Vince Russo. You're the head creative.
Don't call me Vince Russo.
I just write Duckman.
Don't you ever call me Vince Russo because all the shit he takes.
You got a beard like him. It looks exactly like his.
It does not.
You want some glasses, bro?
It fucking does not.
You want some glasses, bro?
Don't even compare me to that.
I liked your booking way better than anything. Bill Watts was a good booker.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Not in 92, but in like the 80s.
Jesus.
But that was SmackDown Raw this week. Let's get a little patriotic. America, Michael, celebrating the 4th of July this Tuesday. As we said, John Cena comes back this Tuesday on SmackDown. Michael, what's best, worst patriotic gimmicks of all time? Immediately when you hear the word patriotic, as far as wrestling gimmicks, I think Sergeant Slaughter. That's like
or top three.
Top three Patriots in
wrestling.
Should
we do best and worst, or what?
Top 3 best. Fuck the worst. Some honorable shitty ones. Corporal Kirshner was a terrible fucking gimmick that didn't.
I could do a top 3 worst in about 5 minutes, but it's top 3 worst for me. Captain America with Hulk Hogan.
Mr. America.
Okay, whatever you want to fucking call it.
That was pretty bad.
It was terrible. The Patriot would go in at number 2. It was awful. It's still going to this day. Thank you, Sal Sincere.
I did it once. I could do it again.
Oh God, Jesus! Why does the Patriot have to sound like a fucking Confederate soldier that's still pissed about the war?
I'll beat you, Bret Hart. I could do it again.
Do it again.
Del Wilkes, God, I didn't hate the Patriot gimmick. I thought it was cool.
The number 1 would have to obviously be Lex Luger.
Get the fuck off my show.
Worst.
Made it in the USA?
Worst.
Because there was no payoff?
It was awful.
Because
nobody bought it.
I bought it as a kid.
You did not.
I needed a replacement for Hulkster.
You fucking did not buy it.
I had a seat on the Express for...
You fucking did not.
You had a seat, too.
I didn't have a seat.
You just chose to get off
I didn't want any fucking part of that seat. I was a Brett fan.
You were a Brett guy as a kid, yes.
Yeah, fuck that Lex Luger. I could tell it was bullshit. That's my number 1. You got any top 3s for worst?
Top 3 worst patriotic gimmicks. Ranger Ross from WCW. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Yeah,
How'd that slip through your fingertips?
Yucky, because it's just something I tried to forget.
A Black Army Ranger. Nothing wrong with that. He was a jobber. He had no charisma. Also, Corporal Kirshner at number 2. When Sergeant Slaughter has a falling out financially, you replace him with the first Italian guy off the streets of New York and say he was in the Marines. You probably do better than that booking-wise. It didn't work then. He got booed as a babyface. And my number 1 worst patriotic gimmick of
Lex Luger.
Fuck out of here. Stop saying it. Stop reminding me you put that on a worst list. Because that's going to be on my best list. Greg Gagne being trained by Sergeant Slaughter in the AWA. When he went to Camp Slaughter. Greg Gagne is the worst patriotic gimmick of all time. Now time for the best. Greg Gagne getting mad play lately. What? You don't remember that, do you? Go back.
Yes, I do. That's why I'm
Kristen,
laughing.
everyone in the chat.
That's why I'm laughing.
Go back and check out Greg Gagne
No,
training with
please
Sergeant
don't.
Slaughter.
It's awful.
Michael, the top 3 best patriotic gimmicks of all time. Number 3.
Number 3 for me has to be Sergeant Slaughter. Yes, he's number 3. Don't give me bullshit about him being number 3. He's number 3 on my list. That's the way it is.
My number 3 was, in fact, the Express itself, made in the USA, Lex Luger.
How does he make a best anything?
Because they gave him a vignette where he had United States of America pajama pants. What is more American? Remember, he was cuddling his USA
jogging pants. They weren't pajamas.
There were literally like 26 pillows on that bus, and they were all American flag pillows. I think
he had 7 of them under his neck.
And obviously, no, it didn't work. He was no Hogan. But if it would have panned out a little differently booking-wise, if you actually would have pinned Yokozuna, it could have came out a little bit differently. But that's my number 3, just because it was so American and so many American flag pants and shit.
Yeah.
And his attire.
Number 2.
Number 2, Michael.
For me, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
Wow.
Tony Atlas makes my list.
What made him patriotic other than the fact that he just called himself Mr. USA? That's the only thing I'm saying.
Because he was Mr. USA.
Fucking all those ring rats. Like,
he won the Mr. USA bodybuilder event.
He's documented saying he slept with over 2,000 women.
Well, if that's not American, I don't know what is.
It's pretty goddamn American.
How's that not American?
And I got nothing.
Yeah.
I can't argue with
So
that.
he's number 2 on my list.
Wow. Number 2 on my list has got to be the immortal Hulk Hogan, the early 90s WWF Hulk Hogan.
All right.
They tried to make him so apple pie and American and blibbity blue.
On my list.
Not on your list. Yep. Even when the American-made Hulk, when you come out the red, white, and blue stripes. But that's my number 2. Who's more patriotic than WrestleMania 7 Hulk Hogan? Michael.
Well,
number 1, top of the mountain. If we had the same guy just because his music's been playing this whole fucking time.
When you think of USA, you think of one wrestler.
Stan Hansen.
You think there's one wrestler.
A teeny weeny.
That he comes into the ring and the crowd chants USA.
Nails.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Son of a bitch.
USA! USA!
Not doing it.
Hacksaw.
We have the same number 1. That is also my number 1 pick. Nobody screamed Americana. He had little American flags with little yellow ribbons. It's Survivor Series.
And he hit you with a piece of wood.
He was in Team Canada for a minute, and he shaved his beard. What a shitty way to book Jim Duggan. But yeah, I mean, immediately when
Really, Kristen had a seat on the Express.
honorable mentions to Kurt Angle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? All-American
Yeah.
athlete, obviously. Guys
Olympic
like
gold medalist.
Brad Rangans.
Mark Henry.
Brad Rangan's got a mention on the episode, Michael, for once. So
Who?
the guy in the AWA that had like the Kurt Angle gimmick. Bob Backlund, the All-American boy, for Christ's sakes. Anti-American gimmicks, Colonel De Beers. Yeah,
The Iron Sheik.
obviously. But Michael, we're going swimming tomorrow at a family function.
Woo!
Doing it a day early for
Taking
America's
the kids.
birthday.
We're going to be adults for a little while until the women take over.
I
We
can
get
actually not swim due to my medical shit going
Can't
on.
swim at all?
I'm not allowed to fucking submerge. Isn't that bullshit?
drunk. I think you should just fucking.
Just do a
Ignore
fucking
that.
swanton bomb into the pool.
It's 3 feet of water.
Well.
You're going to be able to stand up in it. It's not like you're going to fucking use your dick for that.
You just did like a Jimmy Del Rey
Yeah,
wiggle.
it's not like you got to fucking shimmy your dick around in that.
Let's go ahead and promote it.
It's still going to give you a fucking RKO out of nowhere, whether it's in the water or not. It's how you want to take
Don't you
it.
push me in the pool like Pat Patterson, please. I will be pissed if I get my clothes wet. This Sunday, let's go ahead and promote it. Now, Logan and Matt have switched places. Logan is now our Raw exclusive pay-per-view post-show guy, and Matt's going to handle SmackDown, so Logan's going to be on for Great Balls of Fire. I know, calm down your excitement. This Sunday, though, could have some few
Why
surprises.
did we put more Logan on?
I was going to say, could have a lot more surprises again. Could have our buddy Jay, the prodigal Jay.
We're going to need something.
Could have Kristen from Bear Club herself. She could come back. You can meet Kristen on the show the first. Could have the Maniac. No, he's going to be SmackDown. I
Yeah.
just canceled myself up. But
Broski, where are you at?
who knows? But this Sunday,
I
check
need
out.
somebody to cancel out Logan because he's going to kill the views.
And this Sunday, Michael, we will once again be what?
Live, baby, live.
Real quick, Michael, where can everyone check us out and what we do?
You
for
can check us out at the Hibiki TMD on Twitter. Check me out at Mike the Slam Pig. As always, check out our sister show, The Reset Button with Tannen. And as always, our new shows. The fucking Slam Pigs brand is fucking spreading out like nasty herpes.
This week, by the way, Cheap Plug to Union Smack. Go ahead and check out our first WCW show, the first ever Monday Nitro with special guest ever. Broski's going to be on that. So look forward to that this week, guys.
Hello, Broski.
Hopefully get to have a good pally on Cruise Control as a guest this week with Logan and I. But regardless, look for Cruise Control Live this week, probably Thursday. But until then, guys.
Nobody listens to it, so don't worry about it.
Follow me on Twitter
Logan's on it. Nobody listens to it.
I'm trying to get my promo in.
All right, sorry.
Follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out the reset button. Everything Michael just said. Until next week, Michael, happy 4th of July. It's like Saved by the Bell when they, I don't want to close out that episode of Saved by the Bell when he kissed Stacy and they said Happy 4th of July. But
Yeah.
Happy 4th of July, Michael.
USA! USA!
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Reset.